What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to break down how to unlock the WINTERBITE exotic heavy glaive in Destiny 2 Lightfall. And so this weapon is earned by completing a series of quests at the City Archivist vendor in the Hall of Heroes on Neomuna. Initially, there are 4 legendary quests which must be completed, and these unlock access to the exotic quest thread itself upon completion. So we're going to talk about how to complete the quests and earn the weapon, as well as taking a first look at some gameplay of WINTERBITE in action. And so as always, if you guys enjoy the video, then stick around for more, but without further delay, let's get into it. And so firstly, to take a look at what the glaive actually does, the main exotic perk is Big Frigid Glaive, and it fires a large ball of energy that locks onto nearby targets and freezes them. On top of this, it has super cooled Accelerator, Alloy Magazine, and then Weighted Edge, and this weapon's melee attacks deal increased damage and slow targets when loaded with ammo. Then additionally, it has tilting at windmills, and blocking damage with your shield increases movement speed while shielding. Also, the weapon gets 3 in the mag right here, and you can see when we fire the projectile attack, it fires this kind of slow-moving orb, and the Stasis orb does actually fire at enemies as it passes them, so it will freeze a bunch of targets. Although it's a bit random as to which enemies it will actually target, it can hit targets that are fairly far away, and that projectile attack itself doesn't do a ton of damage, although it is noticeably more than normal glaives, I suppose. And while it's actually loaded with ammo, the melee attack does do increased damage as well. So you can kind of freeze targets and then melee attack them, and you get that bonus, but any targets that aren't frozen will also at least be slowed. So a pretty interesting weapon, definitely one I want to spend a bit more time with before I say whether it's a really good weapon or not, although I'm sure some reviews will be rolling in on the weapon soon. Now in terms of acquiring the weapon, it does require a fair amount of gameplay, and to get started, after the Lightfall campaign, we unlock a new area called the Hall of Heroes on the Neomuna vendor hub. And here there's a vendor called the City Archivist who gives us an introduction to the Hall of Heroes, and following that we have to complete 3 legendary quests to repair the memorials in the hall. Each time we finish one of these quests, a new one will unlock until we've completed all of them, and the objectives are pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to list absolutely all of them, but they consist of completing a lot of destination activities like patrols, public events, and terminal overload, and the terminal overload activity can be launched on the map in a location which changes daily. But additionally, there are some steps which require us to do things in the Vex Incursion Zone, and this zone will change on a weekly basis, but is indicated on the map by the icon that you can see right here. And then in the last of the 3 legendary quests, we also have to complete a mission called Partition, which is this pretty cool sparrow racing style encounter in the Vex network, where we're racing against a timer to defuse bombs. So my only tip for that mission is to be fast, or you'll run out of time. But after the 3 legendary quests are finished, we finally get access to the WINTERBITE exotic quest, which is called Strider. And so for step 1 of the exotic quest, we need to spend keys on a terminal overload chest in each of the 3 different areas of Neomuna. Terminal overload keys are found at random by completing public events, looting world chests, and completing patrols, plus I think Nimbus has got some bounties that reward them as well. But with the terminal overload activity changing location every daily reset, it will take 3 daily resets to complete the first step of the exotic quest. Once all 3 of those have been completed though, step 3 of the quest requires us to defeat Shadow Legion forces on Neomuna to find location data, and so literally head to anywhere that has Cabal in the open world and farm kills until the 20 location data have been found. Following this, we'll need to go into the Lost Sector in Ahimsa Park to unlock a data cipher, and this will drop when we complete the Lost Sector and open the chest. To find the Lost Sector though, when you're in Ahimsa Park, on the eastern side of the zone to the right of Callus's ship, there's a cliff edge right here, and we'll need to climb down it and jump onto those platforms on the side of the ship to find the entrance. Once the Lost Sector's done, step 4 requires us to return to the Archivist in the Hall of Heroes to discuss our findings, and they'll ask us to go ahead and repair the Strider's memorial. So get that done, and then the final step beyond this simply requires us to head to Maya's retreat on Neomuna, and this should be highlighted on the map. And there we'll need to halt a Vex operation by destroying Hydras and shutting down the confluxes. And so basically just clear the area in this fight. It's pretty easy to do, and once finished, we can return to the Archivist, who will give us the WINTERBITE exotic glaive. It is a fairly basic quest overall. Again, there's a bit of grind there, and of course some time gating with the featured terminal overloads, but otherwise it isn't too difficult to get done. And so guys, I hope the guide has been helpful. If it has, feel free to drop a rating below and give us your thoughts on the new glaive. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in as always, and I will catch you all very soon.